the draft scheme of Reserve Bank of India for reconstruction of Yes Bank is already in public domain. The plan has been received by State Bank of India and our investment and legal team. It is doing their due diligence on the draft scheme. There is a time given till Monday for us to go back to Reserve Bank of India with our comments. Second is, we had informed through the stock exchange that SBI board has given in principle approval to explore the possibility of picking up a stake up to 49% in Yes Bank. And there are, so from this perspective, as per the draft scheme, as per the board approval, now once we have completed our due diligence, we will go back to Reserve Bank of India with our comments. So this is my only remark, because you have a lot of questions, so I will rather prefer to answer question, but one question at a time, and then repeat question, but I promise that I will answer each and every question of yours. We can start from left to right, or Alec, whatever order you want.
I'll identify.
Sir, yeah, Alec here from Cogensis. The first question is, the draft scheme says that the 81 bonds will be permanently write-off. I understand the covenant says that it could be, if there's a trigger, it could be either written off or converted into equity. Tell us the rationale of choosing write-off over conversion into equity.
You are asking this question to a wrong person. So one, it is part of the draft scheme, and there are certain covenants, contractual obligations under 81. So I would not comment on that, but when Reserve Bank of India have drafted the scheme, I'm sure they would have taken into consideration all aspects.
But there are reports
Sir,
about
Let us, I would suggest that rather than going into 81 and these things, the role of SBI, or what is our game plan, so these would be more relevant questions rather than around 81. Those questions you may have to probably put to RBI.
Mr. Kumar, Ritu Singh from CNBC TV 18. What will be the total quantum of investment that you will make in Yes Bank over a longer period? Immediately, are we correct to assume you will be investing 2,450 crores? Could you please explain the math to us?
Yes, that's the right question to ask. So how this 2,450 crore figure is coming? Currently, there are 255 crore shares outstanding, and as per the draft scheme, SBI can take up to 49%. The only requirement is that there is a lock-in of 26% for 3 years. So it sets in a way the boundary. So minimum 26% for 3 years, that is a sort of an obligation that is part of the scheme. Anything above that, up to 49%, depending upon what is the interest from other investors, what is the total capital requirement, the bank's investment would be determined. So beginning, how 2,450 crore has come, because 255 crore shares are outstanding, then if we have to take 49%, then 245 crore shares multiplied by 10, so 2,550 crore. That is how the figure has come. So to that extent, this figure is correct, that if today, if SBI goes solo and picks up 49% stake, then immediate investment requirement is 2,450 crore.
So are you
one by one?
Ritu, please.
So no, you can't repeat.
Ritu, please. Ritu.
So,
Mayur, please.
yeah, please. Okay. So our investment team, we have put an investment team, and Mr. Jaina is our Deputy Managing Director Treasury. Again, there is a limit in the sense, what is the draft scheme says that the authorized capital of the company is being increased to 2,400 crore shares, right? And the face value of Yes Bank share is 2 rupees. Okay, so that way 4,800 crore is the authorized capital, presuming, again it is a presumption, these are all presumptions, presuming Yes Bank needs 20,000 crore rupees. Presuming, I'm saying, and you issue 2,000 crore shares at 10 rupees. So that makes it 20,000 crore rupees. Presuming, again, that SBI picks up entire 49%. We may pick up, we may not pick up. 26% of 20,000 crore, that is a commitment. If tomorrow the capital is 20,000 crore, we will pick 26% of that. That is under the scheme. That is the requirement. So our minimum investment over a period of time is 25% of say 20,000 crore or 22,000 crore. So which makes it about 5,500 crore or odd amount, right? And 2,450 crore you have said from the beginning. So this is the total commitment in terms of if it is 26%, if it is 49%, double that. So maybe 10,000 crore order.
Okay. So I have to.
So
one by one.
Yeah.
One by one. You people are in great hurry. I am not. So please answer every question. So Ritu, that satisfies your question. I can move to the next lady. No, then you come back. I'll come back. Yeah, please. Saloni, what are yours?
So, the assumption here is that you would invest 25% of
26%.
Yeah, no, 25% of the whatever amount is required.
26.
No, you just said that
26%.
presuming 20,000 crores the investment
So
required.
26% of that.
Okay.
So 5,200 crore.
Okay. So are you already in talks with private equity investors? Because there were some names which were released by the bank earlier as well, and they were but the board was already in talks with them. So are these the same people who you are in talks with?
There are many potential investors. After seeing the scheme, they have approached us, and there are some good names. What we have to keep in mind that whatever and whoever is the co-investor or has willingness, there are 2-3 things there. One is that what are the RBI guidelines? So anybody who wants to go above 5%, they have to meet the fit and proper criteria of Reserve Bank of India. If they are foreign institutional investors, they have to be eligible under foreign FDI or FPI guidelines. So there are certain regulatory norms when it comes to investment in the financial sector, particularly the banks. Why investor interest? What I am seeing that even the troubled institutions, whether it is NBFC or HFC or now the bank, there is a considerable investor interest in the financial sector of the country. So investors are seeing an opportunity here. We conducted a bid, one of the NBFCs, just last week, and very good response received, good recovery for the lenders of that NBFC. One HFC which is under administration, at least we have received, I am told, 23 expression of interest. And for Yes Bank also, people have reached out. These are all initial discussions, and then we will discuss with them, our investment team will discuss with them, work out what are the possibilities which meet regulatory guidelines, and then of course in consultation with Reserve Bank of India, subject to their complying fit and proper criteria. So we may present a plan to Reserve Bank of India along with some other names also. That is a possibility. So no firm decision, because as I said that the process is that we have received the draft scheme. It has to be vetted, examined legally. The investment team will do their due diligence in the shortest possible time with whatever available information, and then it goes to the board of the bank. And when board approves whatever is the final, that will be communicated to the stock exchange first and then to.
Sir, on the moratorium.
So today whatever I am saying, these are all, as I said, that these are the thoughts. But the final decision rests with the board of SBI, and because we have certain obligations under LODR, so we will comply all those regulations, and that's what I said, that this press conference is more to give certain clarifications. Otherwise, in media, you write whatever you want to. So I don't want that to happen.
Sir, on the moratorium, SBI is...
Saloni, your turn is over.
Yes, sir, you indicated that whether it's 29, 26 or 49 would depend on the size of the hole in the balance sheet. So by when do you think you'll get an idea of the hole?
No, our investment team is working, and then many people have done due diligence also. Many investors have, I am told, done due diligence. Then RBI has done their inspection. So we will be able to know reasonably well.
Since the governor said that within 30 days, do you feel that the time frame
We will work overtime 24/7. That what Honorable Governor has said, our effort from State Bank of India and whatever is within our capability, we will try that the resolution plan is approved and implemented much before what the timeline has been set by Reserve Bank of India. SBI team will not be found wanting on this account.
So any message to customers looking to shift their
Very
business out of
important
panic?
message to customers that as far as depositors are concerned, maybe because of 50,000 requirement, it is a matter of few days that there is some inconvenience. But as far as the safety of their money is concerned, Honorable Finance Minister, Honorable Governor of Reserve Bank of India, everybody has assured, and that is what I feel is the right assurance, that depositors' money is not at all at risk.
So how will shareholders get value out of this deal, SBI shareholders?
Whenever there is a stressed assets, so shareholders by nature, equity is the most risky investment.
SBI shareholders.
SBI shareholders, definitely what I believe that whatever is proposed to be done, the interest of SBI shareholders will not be compromised. What this potential investment has to be viewed. One is, of course, in the context of that there were not many options probably before the government and Reserve Bank of India and to take this route. But otherwise, purely from investment angle, wherever investments have been made by State Bank of India, we have not lost value. You have seen SBI cards, you have seen SBI Life, you will see SBI Mutual Fund in due course, you will see SBI General. And our co-investors in whatever form they have come, either as a joint venture or a strategic analyst, they have also not been disappointed. And it is little bit strange, which I keep on telling my friends from media and the analyst community, that you give less value to State Bank, but you are willing to give more value to my investments in my joint ventures, subsidiaries, associates. And if that is the case, so hopefully this investment, proposed investment, once it is approved by the board, will also not be against the interest of the shareholder of State Bank of India. We have done our maths, all our capital ratios, they will not be impacted. There is a very marginal impact on bank's capital adequacy ratio. All the ratios, whatever is the regulatory minimum, we maintain as a policy 50 basis point above that. So we will continue to do that without any further raising of the capital from the market, and there is no question of requesting the government for any capital. So to that extent, as far as SBI's balance sheet is concerned, SBI's P&L is concerned, SBI shareholders are concerned, there is absolutely nothing to worry about. These calls we take day in, day out, whether it is loans, whether it is investments. We do these investments, we do these loans, that they will give us the desired return. Many a times it happens, and sometimes it doesn't happen. So that is a different matter. But that is how all the investing is done. And SBI cards, again, I'm saying, is a very fine example that in 3 years' time, our own investment and our co-investor investment, it has become 10x in 3 years. So this is how the entire investment philosophy works on this way, that at times you will be very successful, at times you will be moderately successful, at times you will be taking a wrong call.
Sir,
So the
Subhashri
draft
from-
scheme has fixed a premium of 8 per share. So the draft scheme has fixed a premium of 8 per share.
Premium.
A premium of 8 per share. So how have you arrived at that?
No, that is.
Are you comfortable with that?
That is RBI, this thing, proposal in the draft scheme. And as I said, that our investment team is working and they will do some preliminary evaluation of that price. But prima facie, it seems that if it is 10 rupees and 255 crore share are outstanding, so the value of the bank is 2,550 crore rupees.
Sir, Subhashri,
So just a
But
minute,
the
just a minute.
book value is, I think, around 100 rupees.
No,
per share.
you can't, when we are doing it as a going concern, then what you have to keep in mind is, one, the control premium. Second is, as a going concern, the value of the investment. A bank which has 1,150 branches, which has a very strong retail franchise, which has a very good technology platform, has problems on the corporate banking side. So any investor and the investor interest would and is coming about Yes Bank as a going concern, and that is where even if a book value may be even negative, it doesn't matter. But at a valuation of 2,550 crore, I'm not saying or giving any definite view, but prima facie it appears that the bank is worth 2,500 crore. And the people who are all making noise about that, the 1 rupee or half rupee or this thing, you just go through their reports of 2018 and 2017 and you will know what were they saying just 1.5 years ago about Yes Bank's valuations.
So Subhashri from
Subhashri.
Bloomberg News.
Sir, Anand, sir, ek second.
I just
We'll
wanted to
come back.
understand.
Yeah,
I just wanted
please.
to understand, sir, that how many investors would you already must have been talking? So how many potential investors will
Well,
you
the-
have
you
in
can't
this?
give a count like that.
And sir, also, sir, is there any? I mean, few months back, maybe even 2 months back, you were saying, sir, that there is no question of, if I can quote you, there is no question of merging with, buying Yes Bank.
So there is no
sir,
merger.
So not merger. There is no question of investing. So I am trying to understand, sir.
You're right. I said there's no question of merger. There's no
So
question of merger.
is this that SBI is helping the nation because of its deep
Absolutely.
pockets to bail out?
The way to understand is that what I was saying and what is the current is. One is when you say something, you say at that particular relevant point of time. That is one. So if you are saying that I was saying that no question, so I said that all the brokerages 1.5 years back, read all their report about Yes Bank. And today what they say. So because that was the view at that particular time, and today what is their view is in the current context. That is one. Second is that the draft scheme of Reserve Bank of India and the proposed resolution plan, in a way, to me, is a very sort of an ideal way, in the sense that all of you have been saying, right, for last 6 months, all analysts have been saying that if Yes Bank, any resolution has to come, SBI will have to be part of it. So you people have honestly created that situation that you have left with no choice for.
Manojji,
But that is just, that is in a lighter way. But the fact is that the State Bank of India is a national institute of importance, national institution of importance. It has size, it has credibility. And when there is any banking institution in particular where the survival of the bank is a must, otherwise there is a huge contagion effect.
Why, sir?
why should a survival be?
Just a minute. Who is that
Gopika,
behind
let
the
him
survival?
finish.
Who is that question?
Gopika.
Why survival means what? Didn't you see Lehman Brothers?
Wouldn't that-
Just tell me, US, the temple of capitalism, UK, the temple of capitalism. Lehman Brothers, they allowed to fail, but what was the reaction of US government after that? $2 trillion TAR. UK, $50 billion investment by UK government in Lloyd's Bank. So when we talk about all this capitalism, about this, all these issues, we have to keep in mind that a bank, particularly a bank, whether it's small, medium or big, its failure has huge consequences for the financial system and economy of the country. And today, if a resolution has to happen, realizing that need, you need a credible name with the investors as well as the creditors as well as the depositors of the bank, that yes, SBI is standing behind it, has been asked to stand behind it, and that will ensure stability in the financial market. That is what I believe, and that is the logic. But to say that a private enterprise should not be saved, my argument has always been very different. Any enterprise, irrespective of the ownership, is a national asset. If it closes down, it's a huge loss to everyone, to the employees, to the ecosystem which an enterprise supports. So this debate around this thing, I have a different take, but I'm not disputing that people are not entitled to hold a different view. But we should not, and governments across the world, whether they are fully capitalist, they try to ensure that an enterprise is safe. UK, just for your information, when Tata Steel wanted to close one of their minister was on the next flight and came to India. They are completely capitalist society. Why? Why did they come? So I think this debate, it is a debate, but I am on this side of the debate where I believe that to the maximum effort should be made and try to preserve the enterprise in the larger interest of the employees. Today, suppose any enterprise fails, what is the fate of the employees? What is the fate of the other stakeholders who are associated? But if it is done in such a manner that, like this current situation, where without impacting SBI's interest, and if help is needed, so as I said that we are the largest bank in the country, we have a role to play, and that role, precisely because of this reason, that any restructuring plan, it will become more credible both with the depositors as well as the potential investors.
Sir,
So in that case, would SBI come to the rescue of Vodafone, Jet, and so on, many other cases which are of national?
Even true,
वित्त मंत्री ने कहा कि यस
it's not that we did not try, but the system, the laws, the regulations, the circumstances, it could not be revived. So it is not that everywhere I'm going and picking equity or doing this. But if you ask me as a creditor, again I'm saying, even if it is Vodafone idea, if something which does not harm the interest of SBI and any support is required as a creditor then, not as an equity investor, but as a creditor or lender or as a large lender, bank is always very pragmatic about these things, and we are aware of what responsibility lies on the State Bank of India. And there is a fact that the State Bank of India, every time we cannot be governed by some very narrow considerations. So that is the reality, that also we realize. But wherever help is required as a creditor or as a lender, we have rendered in the past. You talk to any corporate who has an experience of dealing with the State Bank of India, they always feel that we stand by them in the times of difficulty.
Manojit.
So that is the philosophy of the bank, and we work with that philosophy. But again, I'm saying we are mindful and very mindful of the interest of our minority investors in State Bank of India. Yes. We are very mindful of that. The State Bank Board is very mindful of that. And all actions are governed by this philosophy that we have to take care of all stakeholders, and the banks, State Bank's minority shareholders, they are a very important stakeholder for the State Bank of India. We keep and will keep their interest in mind.
So the
Yes, sir,
reason why I
Manojit,
was
yeah,
asking
from-
was...
Gopika, please. Manojit.
Manojit from the Hindu, sir. I have two questions. One, do you have a time frame in mind by which you want to come down from 49 to 26?
So 26%, as I said, is the 3-year lock-in.
Right.
And other than that, whenever or from the beginning itself also, depending upon how the investment scenario and our potential co-investors, what is their time frame, it will depend upon that. But 26% for 3 years, that is an obligation under the scheme. Other than that, there is no obligation on the bank.
So the other question is that now there is the inherent conflict of interest because SBI is also a bank and Yes Bank is also a bank. How will you ensure that SBI will not poach the best customers of Yes Bank, will not get best accounts of Yes Bank, which will make eventually the Yes Bank much more weaker? How will you ensure that?
That is not SBI's philosophy, and we don't thrive in misery of others. We never do that. So one thing has to be very clear, that it is a proposed strategic investment, number one. Like we do with all our associates and subsidiary, we keep arm's length. It is the professional board and the professional management team who run these our subsidiaries and associates. Bank as a shareholder or as an investor has certain expectations which are told to the management team and these boards. Other than that, there is no question of any conflict of interest. We will keep not 1 arm's length, 2 arm's length from Yes Bank. Initially, whatever work my team has to do. So as I said, that maybe next 15 days, 20 days, our team will work very hard. But once the bank has its board, has its MD and CEO, and I am told, that is the feedback I have got, that they have a very competent professional team otherwise. The employees, I am told, Yes Bank, they are very good. This is the feedback. I have not experienced. I am not a customer of Yes Bank. But that is the feedback generally I am getting. So bank, as far as Yes Bank is concerned, once it is out of administration, it will be run by the professional board, by the professional management team. We have taken or will be taking an investment call, and will, as a majority shareholder, whatever is the expectation of SBI board as well as the co-investors, because I am hoping and expecting that there will be many other co-investors. So that is how the bank will run, and it will run completely independently, and absolutely no way that we will be involved in day to day. That is not the intention at all. And this is what I feel, that this bank can be very quickly come out of the administration and find its feet again.
So many investors are
Gopika,
wary of investing in the bank. Once again,
Gopika, please let others ask
Just
questions.
last question, one question. After that, no question from me.
Many investors are wary of putting in money in Yes Bank because they are still not sure about the numbers. They are questioning the
So let
quality
them
of the
not
book and also the past irregularities perhaps the promoter has done. There has been no
Gopika, let
forensic
him answer.
audit.
Gopika,
So I just want to
just a minute,
understand. I just want to understand: is SBI
Gopika.
aware of some of these numbers? Have you had a look at some of
Just a
these
minute,
numbers
I've
like
answered that
NPA?
Gopika, let him answer, yeah.
I have answered that question already, that our investment team will do their due diligence, and they are on the job. They will work 24/7. At the same time, as I said, investment decisions are all by choice. There are not compulsion. If somebody is not comfortable, so will not invest. If somebody sees potential, will invest. So the investment philosophy also of each investor is different. There are investors who follow or pursue high risk, high reward street. There are investors like you and me who don't believe in that. We go for low risk, low reward. So there are all spectrum of investors. So they will evaluate whether it fits in their investment philosophy or not and take a decision.
Would you seek a forensic audit?
Gopika, please now. Vishwanath.
Would you seek a
Vishwanath,
forensic audit of the bank?
Vishwanath, please ask your
What
question.
is?
A forensic audit
Of?
the bank.
That is the bank board and
Vishwanath, please
RBI
ask.
will decide.
Vishwanath.
Sir, Vishwanath here from Bloomberg. I
Yeah.
just wanted to get a sense. I mean, till very recently, I mean, I know it's some parts of it you've answered. Till very recently, you were not in favor of looking at this as an investment proposal. In a matter of hours after certain announcements by the government, you made that decision. I mean, what has changed as an investment proposal for Yes Bank? What has changed? A, and B, as somebody who's going to hold 49% stake in the bank. Compliance culture has been repeatedly pointed out yesterday also by the finance minister. Compliance culture is a problem with Yes Bank. Do you intend to then intervene, or will you still leave it to the board of whatever is a newly constituted board of the bank?
One is, again, maybe I have to answer this question or repeat my... In the same way that in the current situation, it is important to give assurance to the depositors as well as to the potential investors that there is a credible name standing. So when potential investors were looking at it, they are also like, there were some feelers that whether a state bank can be a co-investor, but that is, again, all these things I can't discuss in media, but nothing definitive. But from depositors, an assurance to depositor and assurance to co-investor. That is how I view this call. And the second about the compliance culture processes, so it will be, again, as I'm saying, that the board and the new CEO and the new team which will be there, it is their job to put proper systems, procedures, improve the compliance culture. That will be their job, and that is what will be sort of a shareholder expectation.
Just to add to that,
Mute.
if the initial investment was just 2,450 crore, was there a need to shut down the bank for a month? I mean, this could have been done without putting the depositors in so much stress. Even if it is for a month, there was no reason to do that.
No, but I think there are certain legalities involved in it, that the way RBI under the relevant laws have to do, there is I believe a certain process, and that's why it became inevitable.
So,
But that is all about the law of the land in which they have to operate under the Banking Regulation Act. So I'm sure that that was probably the last resort and the only way. That's why they had to do it.
Sahil.
So just taking forward from the questions which has been asked before, do you think that by setting up a deadline that, within a month's time, RBI has been talking about that as early as possible, I think you're rushing into it. I mean, do you think that this kind of investment should have taken with proper time and due diligence and all that? But by setting up a deadline, you're missing out on that. And how many times SBI is going to play a role of a troubleshooter, because finally it's a public sector unit, and just because it's a public sector unit, you think that it's appropriate that every time, whenever there is a problem with corporate governance with any company, the SBI will work as a troubleshooter? So these are the two questions.
Second question is very difficult to answer, that how many times. I wish that there are not many times we have to do that. But about the time frame for the resolution, one is that a lot of due diligence has been done by many potential investors over last 1 year. It is not that due diligence has not been done. There were many proposals, I am told, but for one reason or another, they could not fructify. Second is that RBI's due diligence is also there. And for SBI board to take a call on the basis of whatever is the indicated price. I have already said that based on overall market cap which has been indicated in draft scheme of 2,500 crore. So I tell and I agree that if it is a very huge, large investment, everybody needs to be sure, the investor, that there are no more, whatever is the hole in the balance sheet. But I think that when 14th March, the results of Yes Bank come out, so that itself will give a lot of indications.
So do you want to wait till that before making any kind of
No,
an
there is a time till 9. So we will do, these are all procedural issues. But as I said, that prima facie 2,500 crore market cap for Yes Bank by otherwise also doesn't look to be very out of place. This is just, I would say, as a, even without doing due diligence, as a gut feeling, I would say that if you are, or any potential investor is putting a value of 2,500 crore on Yes Bank, on a gut feeling also it doesn't look to be overpriced.
Sir, Neha Tyagi from Economic.
Just a second. Sahil, just 2 minutes. Just we'll come back.
Sir, Neha Tyagi from ET Now. Firstly,
Where are you, Neha?
Sir,
Yeah.
Sir, Neha Tyagi from ET
Yeah,
Now. Firstly, sir, is rupees 10 per share, do you think it could be a detriment in terms of attracting other investors, considering the face value is rupees 2? And the second question is LIC still in the fray, and can we expect private banks as part of the consortium as well?
As I said, that there are many potential investors, and there is an array of investors. So overseas, domestic. So all this is a matter of detail once any finality is there. And in this, RBI also, you have to keep in mind that they have a very major role in terms of evaluating fit and proper their own regulatory guidelines. So it is not fair for me to comment on that aspect. So our minimum commitment at this stage, without even any co-investor, is to acquire 49% stake for 2,450 crore, which that is the first step. But there is a time for further infusion, due diligence, pricing. So that will take its own course.
So, but rupees 10 as the detriment towards attracting other investors, considering the, so rupees 10 per share.
2,500 crore for a bank of this size. Prima facie, it appears to be not a bad bank.
So just lastly,
Neha,
sir,
Neha,
your
please.
honest
Neha,
assessment of
Neha,
what really went wrong, sir.
Neha,
So
Neha,
just
please.
one, sir.
No,
your
Neha,
honest
Neha, please.
assessment of what really went wrong.
Bijoy, please ask your question. Bijoy, please.
A right question to a wrong person. Yeah.
Bijoy from Cogensis.
Bijoy, sir.
Bijoy from Cogensis. So just wanted to get a sense on what impact this will have on your regulatory capital, because this will be deducted from your regulatory capital.
I already clarified that 0.5% above the regulatory capital requirement. That is what our board mandate is, and that will not be breached.
Okay, and do you see any overhang of this on your ratings or your viability ratings or whatever? Because
Not at all.
most of the rating agencies have already flagged that as a pointer.
So, but why? Like for a bank of 38 lakh crore with a capital of 2,75,000 crore, we every day make investments of 5,000, 8,000, 10,000 crore. So, for a state bank size, where even if 49% and I have to invest, say 10,500 crore, for a state bank size, given our internal accruals now, we are in a very comfortable position, our capital adequacy. So whatever way you look at it, it's not by any definition a very huge impact on.
Sir, I don't think the issue is the number of 2,450. I think the issue is that you may have to invest more, or you may have to commit more.
I already set the boundary.
Yeah.
10,000.
Ma'am, at the back, yeah. Please introduce yourself first.
Yes. Sir, Suchitra from Republic. Sir, I want to ask that the RBI has actually expressed that SBI's funding and Yes Bank's strong brand image is the reason why they have backed this. But with the recent events with ED raiding Rana Kapoor's has the brand image actually lost value, and is SBI confident with its investment right now?
We have to clearly distinguish between the people, the person, and the enterprise.
But has the brand image lost value because of this kind of beating? Has it been
I
taken?
doubt that it will have any negative impact, because whatever brand value is there, it is there. Yes Bank is an entity, Rana Kapoor is an individual.
Agreed,
So
sir,
if
but
individual has done something wrong, so they will pay a price for that. But why should the enterprise suffer?
Ma'am, we'll come back to you. Sir.
हेलो सर, मृत्युंजय सिंह मेरा नाम है, एबीपी न्यूज़ से। आपने लगभग सभी सवालों के जवाब दे दिए। एक रिक्वेस्ट है, अगर आप हिंदी में कुछ सवालों के जवाब दे पाएँ। और
हाँ बिल्कुल दे देंगे,
जी
हम तो यूपी से
सर,
हैं तो
सबसे
पूरी
पहले
हिंदी में दे।
जी सर, सबसे पहले तो एसबीआई की क्या भूमिका है यस बैंक को लेकर, कितना निवेश करने की योजना है और कितने शेयर लेने की योजना है? जिस प्रकार से देख रहे हैं पूरा घटनाक्रम, आपको लगता है कि ये फैसला सही है? क्योंकि तमाम डेवलपमेंट्स हो रहे हैं, ईडी की रेड्स हो रहे हैं, ये साथ ही साथ आप एम्प्लॉयज़ को और जो डिपॉजिटर्स हैं उनको क्या संदेश देंगे?
जी, सबसे पहला संदेश तो डिपॉजिटर्स को, और सबसे पहला संदेश तो डिपॉजिटर्स के लिए है। एंड ये मैं प्रैक्टिकल अपने व्यक्तिगत एग्जाम्पल से बता रहा हूँ कि मेरे नेफ्यू का सैलरी अकाउंट यस बैंक में है, और कल उसने मुझे सबसे पहले मॉर्निंग में उसी का कॉल आया। तो मैंने उसको भी यही बोला कि आपको कोई चिंता करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, पैसा सुरक्षित है। अभी जितने दिन मोरेटोरियम है उतने दिन का तकलीफ़ है, और उस मोरेटोरियम को जैसा कि आरबीआई के गवर्नर साहब ने कहा है कि जल्दी से जल्दी हटाने का प्रयास है। रेजोल्यूशन प्लान बहुत जल्दी जो है इसका वो आ जाएगा। तो हमें इस बात में विश्वास करना चाहिए, और मैंने उसको यही बोला है कि कोई चिंता की बिल्कुल बात नहीं है, और यही संदेश आप सबको दे सकते हैं अपने चैनल के माध्यम से। जहाँ तक भारतीय स्टेट बैंक के इन्वेस्टमेंट का सवाल है, मिनिमम 2450 करोड़ फर्स्ट राउंड में, उसकी अपेक्षा उस ड्राफ्ट स्कीम में किया गया। उसका इवैल्यूएशन हम लोग कर रहे हैं, और जो भी बैंक का इंटरनल प्रोसेस है उसके हिसाब से इवैल्यूएशन करके, और जो डेडलाइन है